Hello everyone, this video is for Module 5. Module 5 is in between the pre-writing stage of the argument essay and the drafting stage of this essay. So you'll be continuing to work on the essay itself. However, the assignments in this module are more about building up some skills that you need in order to write the essay. You can start drafting at any point, but you may want to wait until after I have left some feedback on your pre-writing journal so that you have some better ideas about whether or not your plan will work for this essay. So I just want to show you, there are just two assignments here that you'll be working on. The purpose of college discussion board, the reason we're doing this assignment is to just start to see what kinds of information are out there about higher education. And this also starts to really work on some of the primary objectives of this class, which is the ability to carefully read and evaluate sources. So you'll see that a lot of our assignments, and we started with critical thinking. So this kind of plays off of that. We're building up to our research paper, which is going to take the majority of the rest of the class. And so once we're done with this argument paper, we're going to start on that. But this assignment is really just to continue to practice those skills that are necessary when you are out there in the world looking for information. There can be just an overwhelming amount of stuff. And so we're trying to help you to just kind of weed through that, find information, post it here. In this case, you're looking for sources specifically about higher education. And the idea is that hopefully you'll find something that may work for your essay, or if you don't, maybe somebody else does. And so you're, of course, not limited to these sources when you sit down to write the essay, but this will just give you some information to kind of base some of your decisions on. So that's the first assignment. And then the second assignment that you'll be working on is the MLA documentation assignment. So the previous module, we did a quiz over documentation. Now you're doing an assignment, and this is solely to practice. Again, you're using sources. You can, if you want to, use the sources that you found for the purpose of college discussion board. You don't have to go find extra sources if you don't want to. And you're going to find 5 sources total. So you'll find a few more. And then you have a works cited entry, and then you're going to do a quote and a paraphrase, quote or a paraphrase from the source. And so, but you have to demonstrate total, you have to have at least 2 quotes and 2 paraphrases. So your first 2 sources might be quotes, your second 2 sources might be paraphrases, and then your last source might be whichever one you're more comfortable with, a quote or a paraphrase. And then, of course, you want to look back at the readings if you are struggling with what is a quote or what is a paraphrase, what should it look like. I have a sample assignment here that just kind of shows you what it ought to look like. I think I've got 2 sources here. So my first source here, I just included a quotation. I've got my signal phrase here. Signal phrases are really important for quotes because they provide that transition for the reader so that we're not just dropped straight into the quotation. Remember, using a quote is like it's using somebody else's language, so it's not going to mesh well with yours. And so that's why we always try to use that introduction. It would be sort of like if you were writing dialogue in a story and you didn't tell us who was talking before the line of dialogue. It's really hard to get into that or really understand why it's there unless we have that introduction too. And then the second one here is an example of a paraphrase. Paraphrase is written in your own words, and then you always include that citation at the end of the sentence. The citation always matches the first part of the works cited entry. And I'll say this over and over and over again, and someone's still going to do it wrong. So first part of the works cited entry, I should be able to directly connect these sources to their works cited entry without any trouble because you've used the very first thing that you wrote. Even if this works cited entry is wrong, you're still going to use whatever you wrote first because at least I can link those 2 together as the reader. So that's what I'm looking for in that assignment. And then I've just got a little bit of information here about drafting the argument essay, reminding you that we're still working on this. In the next module is when you'll actually turn the essay in. Some of you do need more than a week to write an essay, and so at this point you should be thinking about how are you going to turn your plan from your pre-writing journal into an actual essay. And so these are just some points to think about. In the next module then is when you'll actually draft the essay and turn in a final draft for that. So that is module 5. If you have any questions, if you're struggling at all, be sure to send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.